Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Answering the Bell with Stormybman, our Sunday morning call-in show. This is number 84 in the series of call-ins, and we typically like to have this show as a morning hors d'oeuvre to what we enjoyed as a main course of boxing last night. We had a couple of cards going on. We had the Showtime feature that a lot of people were looking forward to, where Jerron Boots Ennis took on Roy Main Villa. And then we also had the DAZN card, which originally had scheduled Imantas Stanionis taking on Virgil Ortiz Jr. And the Stanionis-Ortiz match was scratched due to Ortiz having some kind of medical emergency that took him off the card. But the card went through, and we had a chance to see Floyd Schofield featured in the main event. And he took on, what's his name? Rhodes. I'm always thinking of Rhodey when I watch the Iron Man films. But here we are this morning to reflect on what we had a chance to see yesterday, last night, and talk about maybe a few things that are on the horizon. We also had the first premiere on Showtime of their All Access series featuring Earl Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford. So I'm sure some of you had a chance to see that already and might want to chime in with your thoughts and views of that. So we can talk about a few things today, and get it all out there. Get your boxing fix in this Sunday morning. Yeah, you know what I mean? But July has been as hot as Stevie Wonder's old album, Hotter Than July. Yeah! That's what's up, man. That is what is going on. And it's exciting, Totally exciting. And I just hope that some of you can get a little more enthusiastic about the fights that are being made. You know, don't fuss so much over what's not happening, because things change. Especially, I believe, kicking off with Tank Davis taking on Ryan Garcia, a fight that many people thought would never get made. And once those two young men came together to perform, I think I saw a little crack in the foundation of those who were looking to avoid. Because now accountability, the word I like to use, is becoming prominent. And those who kind of veer off track and do not want to stand their ground will be held accountable for that. Read Shakur Stevenson. Yeah! But man, we can talk about these things. All of it. And maybe more. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. So, just allow me to welcome everybody that's out there. Let's see who we got in the building this morning. Angel Diaz, bright and early, saying, good morning, Stormy B-Man and chat. Hope everybody is doing well. Thomas from the Bronx was out there saying, salute, Stormy. I hope all is well. May not make it in 20 minutes, but wanted to hit that like button. Have a great show. Appreciate you, Thomas. Nothing wrong with listening in if you can. You know, put that earpiece in, that Bluetooth, and keep it moving. unless you're giving a sermon this morning, which I don't think you are, huh? You might be headed to that other place. Yeah! Appreciate you, Thomas. Yahweh is out there. What's good with you, man? 704 Joe, my brother's out there saying over 400 views last night. Look at the black man. Sensei. Appreciate you there, 704. Appreciate your support. Hey, we got Mr. Shelton in the building. What's good with you, Mr. Shelton? With Jelly Bean 4280 in the house. What's up? Thrill Hill is back saying salute Stormy B. Jay Gibson out there saying salute to Stormy B, man. And the fam. Yes, sir. ATX. Big Cletus. Big Texas. What's good with you? He said, yo, what's poppin'? Yeah. Learn is out there. What's good with you, Learn? You learning anything yet? We'll find out after you begin to comment. Yeah. Uh-huh. Look at it. There you go already. Shakur, #1, pound for pound. That's why I refer to you as Learn, because much too you have in my Yoda voice. Yeah! Antonio MMA is out there. What's good with you, brother? He says, salute, Sensei. Salute to you. Hope you're doing well. Hope your adventures in the arts are going in a positive direction, bro. Yeah. Eric R. Ain't seen you in a minute. Back saying good morning at Stormy B, man, and Boxing Family. Smash the like button. Thank you very much. Cletus is saying listening at work. Yeah. So, what it is, man. What it is. Once again, coming in a great mood. Got my aromatherapy going, burning my incense over here. Huh? Yeah. I have to put you guys up on these incense that I use. Stormy uses some very, very nice incense from the what is it called? Satya brand. Yeah, a variety. But my favorite is Na Champa. I love Na Champa. I could just burn that for the rest of my life. It's so earthy, woodsy, and gives you that calming effect, huh? When you have that burning in the environment. And they have oils, sprays. It's very good, very nice. So that's what I do. Aromatherapy is nice, man. When you got great scents burning, it releases certain endorphins in your system that will allow you, take you to a great place. And it's different than, taking in that other stuff. But you have to allow that to progress in your life. Some people can't get beyond the stuff that you take into your body, huh? And there's a word attributed to that. It's called addict. But a lot of you don't understand, especially when you're addicted to foolishness. Yeah. Flawless Mentality and Black Excellence, hosted by Dr. Mark, is in the building, saying salute to the God, the Sensei Stormy B, man, my brother of excellence, fam, and the gods and beautiful goddesses of the mighty LDBC answering the bell, call in family. Takes a lot to type that, Dr. Mark. Appreciate you. Yeah. So how did you guys enjoy those fights last night? I know most people were tuned in to Showtime, and I had to go back to the Zone this morning because my girl, Marlon Esparza, fought again last night, and she came away the unified champion. She went in with a couple of belts, and she lifted that belt off of LaChucky, huh? Miss Gabriella Alanis. Yeah, from Argentina. But I'm concerned about my girl, and I'll talk about that in a little while. Nothing about her skills or her performance, but something that I noticed early before she went into the ring. Boxing and Barbecue, what's good with you? He says, morning, Stormy. Morning to you. Eric R. says, boxing has bounced back in a major way in 2023. As much as I've been waiting in anticipation, Crawford and Spence, I'm really looking forward to Fulton versus Inoue. What I'm hating about Fulton versus Inoue is the start time, man. That's actually 7 a.m. Central Time from what I've looked up. And I'll be at work, just starting my shift that morning. I'm like, So I might have to pull it up on my tablet or something. We'll see. Jared 011 Green in the building saying good morning, Stormy and everyone. Hashtag LDBC. Yes, sir. Judah Ben Israel says that Stormy, I called it yesterday. I told D-Man Boots would get the KO between rounds 9 and 11. Yeah, you called that, Judah? I mean, you really said that was going to be the case? That's okay. Good stuff, man. I mean, you know, a broke clock is right twice a day, right? So nothing wrong with that. Keep calling them. And let's see if you can keep being right, huh?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Jay Petty says the Boots takeover. Most complete fighter in the game. Where do they find these guys in my General Ross voice from the Incredible Hulk? He was talking about his daughter Betty messing around with Doc Samson and Bruce Banner. Where does she find these guys? So I'm asking, where do we find these guys? Every time somebody have a nice performance or something, they're the best thing since yesterday's sausage, huh? And you know what you did with yesterday's sausage, huh? Tomorrow, there'll be another bone for you to pick. Yeah. Might I remind you that Boots ain't won a title yet, huh? He ain't beat a top 5 fighter yet, huh? He got 30 fights in, but nobody in the top 10, huh? Yeah. And that's not putting him down. That's just a fact. So hold your horses, man. Huh? Hold your horses. Everyone is enamored for a comet that streaks across the sky. It leaves a trail and people say, ooh, look at that. It's illuminated with like a fireball, huh? But it peters out. That's the other end of it. And sometimes when it touches down, you don't even get to see where it lands, huh? Yeah. You're welcome. Boxing and Barbecue says, yeah, I don't know what jackass chose the day to start time for that Fulton fight. It's that Japanese time there, Boxing and Barbecue. They on Japan time. You know, that's the other side of the world, so that's what they do. Huh? And salute to the brother, Kano Local Sports in the building. He says, salute to all, hashtag LDBC. Eric R. says, I want to see Boots versus Stanionis and the winner fight Thurman versus Ugas. Man, I talked about Keith Thurman last night. Good luck getting him back in the ring, okay? Against anybody good, huh? Because Keith Thurman, I think he trying to grow his ponytail back out before he get back out there for y'all. But, you know, the more he want to grow it down in the back, the more he losing across the front and the top. So, you know, he'll be joining the Peebo Bryson hairline club very soon. Yeah. Dr. Mark is laughing. What you laughing at, Dr. Mark? What did I say this time? Carter Loco says, to be fair, Boots been my #1 pound-for-pound fighter on my list for almost 2 years. How without a title? How without any championship caliber fights? How without taking on any of the top guys? How can he just leapfrog over everybody like that, Carter Loco? Come on, man. You been smoking them things too? Let me say this. Jermell Charlo, for all of his, let's just say it, personality issues, has performed quite admirably in the ring. More so than Crawford, more so than Spence. And as I have articulated on numerous occasions, the one fighter in the game today who has knocked an opponent out with every punch in the repertoire. And they barely wanted to put him on the list at all, let alone his brother, who was a world champion as well. So, as long as they continue to stick Vasily Lomachenko, who has 3 losses now, 3 in the faces of boxing people, it kind of like muddies the water, huh? It's like you ran a nice pool, you had the people come out and clean it, huh? And everything, and somebody want to get in there and pee, huh? Yeah! Yeah. But I will say, the man is a blue chipper. I would never, ever, ever try to take that away. But I've seen blue chippers do the Big Dipper. I've been around. I've seen it. And it's amazing when it happens. Yeah, y'all remember a fighter by the name of Anthony Hembrick? Look him up. Yeah, look him up. So, research is the son of a gun. Being able to look up and know history. And that's just one name. I mean, there are at least a dozen. And the situations and circumstances happen a lot. Yeah. The petty one says, skill set, dedication, power, IQ. He different. Really? Mr. Petty, Give me 3 different fighters that are not from this era, from a previous era. Give me 3 names, and don't use Floyd. Don't take all day either. Learn says, Keith is smart enough to give Boots a good fight. Thank you. Thank you, Learn. See, he been in class. He just be clowning in class. But, yeah. Thurman is one of the most intelligent fighters in the game today. In fact, his skills are not even on par with his ring IQ. And that could be a thing to deal with not wanting to get in the best shape that he needs to get in to compete, because some fighters have a cutoff point. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not just going to run that extra mile. I'm going to have this slice of cake. I'm not going to remain disciplined. I'm going to have as many women as I want on fight night or before fight night. You know, all of that kind of stuff. There are people who live that way, and they still are successful because they have talent. Huh? They said Mike Tyson had half of Tokyo when he was in Japan getting ready to fight Buster Douglas. Huh? He couldn't do it the first time he was over there because Robin was with him. Huh? Yeah. So, that's what I got to say about that. Huh? Unscripted Virtuoso says, salute Sensei in the chat. This fight game getting interesting again. I doubt Keith steps in that fire with Ennis. Boots versus Stanionis is going to be fireworks. It's going to be a very good fight. Both of those fighters will ask questions of themselves that they haven't had asked, no matter how many fights either of them have had. And it's a contrasting style matchup. Yeah. Thrill Hill says, I remember Hembrick. I didn't think he was all that. Well, he turned out not to be. But people were high on him. That's what you need to remember, Thrill Hill. That's all. People were anointing him way early on. They really were. But see, you fast forward and you remember a gentleman by the name of Booker T. Ward, and hey, things change. Huh? Yeah. A gentleman by the name of Donald Curry, the Lone Star Cobra, huh? Who was challenging Marvin Hagler, talking about what he was going to do and everything, but couldn't get out of the way of the left hook of Mike McCallum. Yeah. And just in case y'all forgot, when you come in here, class is always in session, huh? Always. Because as Professor Roger Scare says,
as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
Yeah. Salute to Roger. Go subscribe to him. He always got a message or two for you. But note that just like when you take that message from him, there's a follow-up message, huh? Because Roger will tell you like it is, just like Stormy, huh?
And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is. Lala D is out there. She says, Stormy, it's so nice outside in Chicago. I want to go spend some money. Well, Lala D, you can start right now. Hit the super chat. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. You said you wanted to spend some money, huh? It's burning a hole in your purse, huh? Refresh it, as Blue Bloods say. Refresh my super chat, huh? Coming to class with no apple for the teacher, for the sensei. You must be mad, huh? And if you ain't mad, you're about to make me mad. Yeah. Coming about these parts, huh? Look at 704 Joe. He says, hands off, Donald Curry, one of Texas' finest. Yes, he was. But you should have been telling Mike McCallum, hands off, huh? Because the last time I checked, Donald received some sleeping pills, huh? Yeah. It's the facts. It's the facts. Don't get mad at the messenger. Just listen to the message, huh? Yeah. Keep telling y'all, man. There's a lot to learn around these parts. A whole lot. Sitting there looking at me with that Snoop Dogg expression on your face. Look at that. I said a couple of things and a few people fell off. I guess they got in their feelings, but you know, that's okay. That's okay, you know. Oh, wow. I want to say salute to Brooklyn Born out there in that super chat. He says it's natural to have questions about a fighter who hasn't been tested. Jermell cleaned out one of the deepest divisions. Hashtag y'all must have forgot. Salute to Brooklyn Born out there, man. We appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. And salute to Lala D out there with that super sticker. Thank you, Lala D. You're free to go spend that money. Do your thing, sister. Do your thing. Man. Stand by one moment, family. I got to do something with my system here. Just give me one moment. Don't go anywhere, anyone. One moment. Sorry about that, family. I had to restart the system. There was a glitch. If y'all saw those two super stickers and super chats that came in, there was no alert for that. So I had to clear this disruption in the system. That's what I was doing. So because I like for you guys to get your alerts on the screen when you make your donations to the channel and everything. And I had tested the system before I went live and it was working. But as soon as someone sent something, it didn't come through. And I want you guys to know what I'm doing when I do that. So, but thank you again, Brooklyn Born and Lala D, for your donations. Thank you. Thank you. I think that was Learn that was asking, do I mind going over Diego Pacheco again? No, I do not want to go over Diego Pacheco again for a specific reason. I got a video coming out on Pacheco, and I would like you guys to tune in to my video. And I did speak about him a little bit the night that I called this fight, and a little bit yesterday. Again, I don't like to sound repetitive, especially for people who do listen and check out the content. But just know that this is one of the things that I encourage people to do, to check me out instead of just like, chiming in, huh? Because you can skim through a book, but it doesn't mean nothing if you haven't read it cover to cover. Yeah. Thrill Hill says, one time said he was back after burials, but he went back into barking from afar, and time marches on. Yeah, that's why he'll soon be called Old Time, huh? Because it was so long ago the last time we remember him being competitive in the division. So, but this is what he has chosen for himself. So don't feel sad. Boxing moves on, and guess what? Just like in the NFL and the NBA, there's constantly new fighters coming along, huh? Some who just come to the sport, some who have come up through the amateurs, and that's the way it works. Yeah. Lewis Hinton, what's good with you? King Vonnie, I see you out there. C. Wood. Yeah. Lala D says, once upon a time, Thurman. Yeah, that's pretty much it. C. Wood says, one time ain't talking about nothing significant. We need to get him in the ring. Until then, shut up. Be quiet. In fact, that's a great where is it at? That's a great segue for my Mel Charlo meme for one time. This is specifically for Keith Thurman. Here, y'all, check it out.
Shut up, take a little bit less money, be quiet.
That's perfect for one time. That's it right there. Huh? Hey, listen, that's what he deserved, man. You know, hanging around the sport like some kind of creep, huh? He ain't getting in the ring with nobody, but he got all types of comments and stuff. It's like, man, shut up, ain't nobody asked your ass nothing. Go sit your butt down somewhere. Get ready for a fight that you really gonna fight, huh? I talked about him last night and Danny Garcia. Huh? Danny Garcia trying to be a real estate mogul. Well, just go do that then and leave boxing alone. Trying to pretend you're still a fighter from Philly, huh? Fighters from Philly fight, huh? Why don't you get your ass in there with Boots Ennis, y'all? Hometown rivalry. Fight! Huh? These guys don't be fooling me, man. See, and don't nobody, when you love the guys, right, nobody don't really want to hear that because it's like, it hurts feelings, huh? Well, the old school fighters didn't have feelings like that. Ask Barrera and Morales, huh? Did they? No, they was in there rumbling, huh? Slapping each other at the press conferences and stuff. That's what people want to see. Not this foolishness of today, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Get in there and iron that stuff out, man. Stop messing around. C. Wood says, appropriate, says Stormy. Yeah, I know. Dr. Mark is cracking up laughing. Eric R. is laughing as well. Three Hill says, that's spot on, Stormy. Yeah, man. Brooklyn Boy says, Lara gonna beat Danny bad. Is there a fight date? Is there an actual fight date? Because if it ain't no fight date, man, it's just blowing smoke. You know what I'm saying? I want to see a fight date. I want to see a press conference, a weigh-in, huh? That's what I want to see. Anything else is like, Danny is like, you know, masquerading. Him and Keith do the same thing, but just different ways. Yeah, Lala D, see, he do all of that foolishness. That's because, you know, what can you say? They do that because that's what the fight game means to them. Not being a legend, not being someone worth noting or remembering. You can run game like that in the streets. Seriously. That's why these guys, they call themselves, you know, some of these modern day athletes, that's why they get caught up in stuff all the time. Because they don't know the difference between, you know, reality and reality TV. So, bad for them, man. Bad for them. But let me go ahead and open up these lines, man, and see who wants to chime in. See who wants to chime in. open things up. I hear you, Eric R. I hear you. Queen 71, salute to you. She says, I thought Laura fought last night, but let me check. No, I don't think he fought last night because I didn't get that on my feed, and I was looking for the fights for this weekend, so I looked through my sources. That's why I asked, do they have a signed contract? Is it a date set and everything? Because until then, that's just, how long has Danny been talking about he gonna go up to 154? How long? And Lyra fights so infrequent, it don't matter if he get in there with Danny or not, because it's gonna be one guy don't fight, the other guy don't want to fight. It's like somebody gonna have to make them mix it up. Yeah, unscripted. You notice that too? He always sticking his name up in there with the other guys. Now you see, Spence. This is Thurman. Now you see, Spence. You can't really be the man unless you see Thurman. You know, one time. Man, if you don't sit your butt down somewhere, Mr. Soft Tissue Injury. He worse than Virgil Ortiz. He got injuries and ailments and everything. But at least Ortiz be going to the hospital and the doctor. Keith just be, it's my elbow, it's my knee. I don't know what it could be. Get out of here. Sit your butt down somewhere. It's crazy. Y'all don't know, man. Don't have no idea. But the lines is open. Somebody want to call in, talk about these boxers, man? Let's get it. Let's get it. Let me see if I could test the line and make sure it's ringing. That was me testing the line, so it is working, y'all. It is working, huh? Salute to Children Learning Corner. Just subscribe. Salute to you. Welcome to the Stormybman family. Go ahead, Lala D. Go ahead. I know, right? Eric R. He be recapping the whole story of his career, and we be like, but what about Boots Ennis? And then I go to talking other stuff. Crazy, man. Drive you crazy with that foolishness. Okay, we got 305 in the building. Is that Lala D?
Yes.
Hey, what's going on, Lala D? How you doing?
How you doing? Is my fan too loud? Let me know. I can turn it down.
No, you sound just fine. You're projecting very well.
Oh, great. Hey, first and foremost, I wanted your opinion on this. Okay, so we saw Boots versus Via last night, and Boots called out, the top dogs at 147. Well, on Twitter, on Andre Berto, he tweeted out that Boots is wasting his time because they have not only a rematch clause, but they both want to move up in weight. I happen to agree with Berto. Like if I was Boots, I wouldn't wait on them because they got a lot going on. But a lot of people think that's duck talk. I wanted to know what you thought.
Well, yeah. Excuse me. I understand that. And so is Boots being aware of what's going on with the two champions. They had put the terms of their deal out publicly so people know that there is a rematch clause that can be exercised within 30 days. The rematch doesn't necessarily have to take place at 147 because both of them have expressed sentiments for moving up and for different reasons. One, Spence has been at 147 since the amateurs and everything, and even though he fought a couple of early fights at a higher weight, he has campaigned as the welterweight champion. Crawford has probably maxed out at 147, but is interested in going up to challenge Charlo. He's spoken on that specifically. And if he becomes undisputed champion, he'll have the leverage to do that, to push for that type of fight. But something has been thrown into the plans because Charlo has recently accepted the invitation to fight Canelo. So we don't know if his belts are going to be vacated or if they're just going to be on hold while he challenges Canelo. And if he's successful, he can vacate, or if he's not successful, will he just return to his weight? We don't know these things. So the fact that Boots has expressed that he wants to fight everybody, including the champions, all he's doing is letting it be known that he's willing. And see, this is the thing about our present society now, which is why Shakur Stevenson is in so much trouble with the fans now. You see, you got social media is become life's reality TV on an everyday basis. You remember you used to can tune in to Real Housewives or the Kardashians and all of those kind of shows and stuff. Jerry Springer, Ricky Lake, all of that. That was on your TV. Yep. But now the internet, everybody got a voice. Everybody got a keyboard. Everybody got a camera and a microphone. So even people who really shouldn't have that and be released into the realm, they do.
Yeah.
When you got fighters like Berto saying what he's saying, he don't have to articulate that, because what did I just explain? Did I not sound like I understand what the circumstances are? So Berto should shut up, because he's not fighting anybody. Okay, and this is the new generation. The man wants to challenge himself. That's all he has put out there. We know that there are some fights that just won't happen. We know that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's expressing that he wants the smoke is far different from all these other guys who are fighting pretenders and journeymen, building and padding their records full of knockouts and everything without taking any risk against anybody that's partially good. So I don't like when certain people step up and say certain things, because you're just fueling the flames. Because there's enough ignorant people out there. They say, well, he's a former fighter. Maybe he knows what he's talking about. And then they'll buy into, like, remember a little over a week ago, we had Shane Mosley talking about Earl beating up Bud in sparring. It's like they never fought in the gym. They never sparred. But it's like Shane Mosley, former world champion and a fighter of prominence, you know his name. right? So it's like when he said, "Oh, it must be true." Oh, it's like he created a whole ish storm of foolishness with his remarks. And the worst part about it is Shane might be having something going on from taking too many blows. So now for me to say that, right, he can get mad, huh? He can be like, who's that dude, Stormybman, suggested that I might have taken too many blows? Well, you did get punched in the head for a living. You did marry somebody who took control of your career and took your belts and took everything else from you, huh? But you out here now talking dumb. So it's like, I'm not talking dumb. The moniker over my head says the sensei because it makes sense what I say, huh?
Absolutely.
Sit your butt down somewhere and be a part of the process of hoping that we get what we would like to see and stop fanning flames of BS because it stinks. It stinks.
And it does. And just like you said, them being boxers, it holds a lot of weight when it shouldn't. Like, as much as I like Shakur and some things about him I'll defend, when he jumped in the ring and started saying how Loma won, I was like, get the you-know-what out of the ring. You don't know what you're talking about. And then you saw all of these people making posts. Even Shakur said it. Like, who gives a F if Shakur said it? Shakur doesn't know.
Right. And see, Shakur, it's a shame that he don't have nobody around him to tell him to give him that hard chuck elbow in the chest. Shut your ass up somewhere.
That's what he needs. That's
because
what he needs.
Look at what he's done. He's damaged his own self.
Yep.
He claims that he wanted to fight Devin Haney, right? Well, let's backtrack on that a little bit because see, this is what the call-in show is all about. Because I could do videos like everybody else in it, but I don't. But I just want to say something about the moves he's made. Devin went over there in Australia and fought a man who didn't deserve any of the terms that he fought under, but he wanted so badly to become the undisputed champion. He was willing to take less, endure more, go through, and everything. And he freaking prevailed. So he earned his stripes. Whether you think he's the best lightweight in the world or not, no one else would have done what he did. No one. So you can't question who he is as a man, because a man does things sometimes that a man don't want to do. Huh? He owns up to things sometimes that are not ready-made for him. Sometimes he has to make a way to get the job done. Yeah. And he did just that. So on this token, he fights Vasyl Lomachenko, the very man who he had been chasing down, who actually sought out a franchise position so he wouldn't have to face Devin. And that's how Devin got that WBC belt. Because Loma didn't want to fight him for it.
Sure didn't.
And so he give it that way, and so they call Devin now the email champion. Well, that's because isn't Loma the emailer?
Exactly.
So talk the real talk. No, I'm not cutting you off because I just want to make a couple more points, and then you can chime in. What I wanted to say is, so fast forward to Shakur Stevenson. Unified champion at junior lightweight, goes into a bout with Roberson Conceicao and intentionally misses weight, loses the titles on the scales, but say he was going to vacate those titles after the fight anyway, so it ain't no big deal, which means that he didn't even defend the titles as a champion. He lost them on the scale. He won the fight, but he moves up for his next, fight at 130, 135, but you don't have any leverage anymore. You were a champion that vacated. You abdicated. You missed weight. That's unprofessional. So, having the titles means that you could have automatically challenged the champion because you're coming up. Just like Canelo is letting Jamel fight him because he's undisputed.
Yeah.
Even though it's 2 weight classes down. But it's still, he has leverage of being an undisputed champion. So that's something that can be sold. What does Shakur have to sell? Bulls crap. So he running around. So Devin fights and beats Loma in a competitive close fight, but he won the fight.
He won. Yep.
And Shakur, what does he do? Shoot himself more in the buttocks by saying stuff like, nah, Loma won that. He got that. He did. It's like, fool, if you wanted consideration, you ain't learned how to butter up and speak pleasantries to get yourself in a position for an opportunity. You big dummy. And let's not forget, he came out embracing his heritage and everything, which caused further dissension because even though that is true, what his heritage is and everything, who was supporting him? Think about that for a moment.
Yeah.
And the PTB is like, oh, you one of them. So they really gonna run you through the ringer. You understand? What a damn dummy. And he's out here doing these things without anyone saying, hey, son, shh, be quiet. Hold your horses. Huh? Now he over here begging Loma?
Yeah.
Do he look like, hey, you ever watched the movie The Mac?
No.
Oh, you got to watch it. It's from the 1970s. It's like what? Mac is 1973, 1974. Max Julian. They in the doggone pool hall. They pimps.
Oh, that sounds like my type of movie.
Oh, yeah, it's an exploitation movie. But the Max Julian, he over there winning in the pool game and everything. And the other pimp, Broad, comes over to him and cozies up to him. And he was like, hey, he called her the B word. Where you going? And the Mac said, hey, man, yo, you know what? Chose me. Now, you want to handle this like gentlemen, or we can get into some gangster stuff. You understand? In other words, pimping is still strong. Huh? So, who is Shakur looking for as a pimp? Wow.
Yeah.
You see?
And the thing is, when Shakur was on, what was that? The Breakfast Club. It might have been the Breakfast Club, but he was talking about how somebody's little kid approached him and said, like, why'd you beat up my daddy? And Shakur said, I'm sorry, I would have beat my son. And I was thinking, wow, Shakur has a lot of pride. He's saying if his son approached another man and said, why'd you beat up my daddy, he would have beat his son. So to see Shakur's tweet to Loma, and again, I'm always like defending Shakur, but when I saw his tweet to Loma, what's all this champ and hope you're feeling better and you really did beat him, I was like, Shakur, I thought you had more pride than that. Like
I just gave you the analogy of the hooker and the pimp. I just gave it to you.
I know.
See, I gave it to you in street terms, Lala D. You know why? Because some of these fools, that's what they know. That's it. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't add the profanity to put the emphasis on it because that draws the ire in the ear of the public. They love that. But I'm trying to clean my channel up a little bit and keep it on a certain level. But the message is still the same. Shakur, let me tell you something. He can't be trusted. Can't be trusted. And what that means is in a fight, he might lay down for somebody.
You got to think about that. It's true.
That's what I'm saying. Integrity is something that should not have a price tag. But some people, when they don't have ethics, they can always be compromised. He running out here behind, he might as well run Look, you want to run behind Lomachenko? You want to run behind Linares? You want to run behind that other Zepeda and all them guys? You want to do that, Shakur? Huh? You want to prostitute yourself out like that? You did this. You did this to yourself. You don't even understand how a man is supposed to stand, huh? But you'd rather sit down when you pee, huh? That's the thing that people are recognizing about you, son. Go get your act together and stay off of social media for a while, huh? Suspend your damn self.
Yep. I couldn't even make a defense video for him on that one. I stayed quiet as a mouse. When I saw that tweet, I said, "Oh, I'm staying out of this. That doesn't look good."
No, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And there's nobody that can come in and shape it up and put makeup on it and everything and put a new outfit. No, we seen what it is. We seen what it is.
Yeah.
Is he a good fighter? Yes, he's a pretty good fighter. Is he a great fighter? Fuck no, he's not.
You don't think so?
What has he done that's great?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's good.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
He's good. See, this is the thing. We live in a time where people equate and they misappropriate words. You understand?
Yeah.
That's like calling every male that you see that's over 21 a man.
True.
You would beg to differ, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when I look at these fighters, I see some good ones and very few great ones. And that is through the experience that I have to be able to witness greatness and equate what is nowhere near greatness, so I don't misconstrue my words.
Yeah.
And don't mislead anyone in what I'm expressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Like they overuse the word warrior. Everybody who gets their kicked is now a warrior. That has replaced somebody who got their butt kicked. And you're right. Great should be more reserved. I agree. Absolutely.
This is why I don't trickle. I call it like swimming in the sewage, because I don't dive into the dirty waters like that. Because there's plenty of maggots and parasites and all of that disease down there, huh? I want something that's pure, that's fresh, that is something that you can set a clock to or whatever. And you don't see that amongst everything. That's why certain individuals, you have to give them props for their accomplishments. If you've been listening, I said earlier in the show about Mel Charlo. Regardless of his personality, which is really something you can question from time to time, his accomplishments in the ring have the merit of greatness. He's done some great things.
I agree.
He's fought his entire career at that division, pretty much cleaned it out. Yeah, there are new guys coming on all the time, but look at who he has defeated, and look at how he's won. He ain't a guy that has garnered all of these gift decisions and stuff like. No, he's been knocking people cold, huh?
Yep.
And they still don't want to give him the credit. I recognize I actually separated about his personality and his accomplishments. The history books will be kind to him. They won't remember as much about his personality as they will about his ring accomplishments. Now look at all these other fools that all you know is what's happening outside the ring because they're not doing nothing in the ring. So who gonna remember them, huh?
Yep. It's really hard to find boxers that have a personality in a overall position to match accomplishments like Wilder or like going back to Ali. They're not easy to find.
Yeah, and like when you look at Spence and Crawford about to fight this month, the fact that these two men got the deal done and they did it off of social media, they did it behind closed doors, communicating with one another. They have a genuine respect for one another, And now
Yep.
it's about business. It's about them trying to prove to the other that I'm the best right now
Yep.
at what we're doing. But they're doing it respectfully, which is why I have said that, and I got a video coming up very soon about this, that what they mean and what they're doing means so much for the sport of boxing. It may actually snowball the start of forgetting about Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Think about that for a moment, what I just said.
Yep.
What they're doing could begin the snowball of forgetting about Floyd Mayweather. And what does that mean, Stormy? Allow me to explain. Floyd's era came along as something that he optimized the inception of social media, and he took advantage of that in his own way and became like the diva of that. But it would be different if he were like a different type of fighter, like let's just say maybe like James Toney or even a Bernard Hopkins or something like that, because those are men who were like warriors in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you don't
Yep.
think about Floyd being a warrior. You think about him being this personality, a good boxer who was pretty darn good defensively, kept his record clean,
Yeah.
and marketed himself as having done something great in doing so. And people saw that and they were like, oh, they're enamored by that. But then you had people trying to emulate that with no substance. Floyd was still
Danny
a great
Garcia.
fighter. He was still a great fighter. But he got people to buy into things that were not so great.
Yep.
And you know what that
Exactly.
did? That kept him
Tank.
elevated.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's up here and everybody else down there because they looking up there. Huh?
Yep.
Nobody was like, I want to take that from him.
Yep.
See? He wanted to take from Oscar what Oscar had, and that was being the face of boxing. And he did that. But he turned that into something different than what Oscar. Oscar was the golden boy. He was the money guy, the cash cow in boxing and this and that. And so, you know, that was once a thing that it lasted that way for generations. Like Sugar Ray Leonard was the same kind of guy. Muhammad Ali was the same kind of guy. They could market that stuff. Well, when you talk about how Floyd did it, he put a twist to it, but it was so much fluff that you couldn't really see the real stuff. Now, that doesn't mean that Floyd couldn't fight and be a warrior in the ring, because I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
But he gave you what he wanted you to have, not what you wanted to have.
Right. And you make a good point, because Oscar De La Hoya was able to carry on that legacy despite losing to all his top opponents.
Right. Right. Which lets you know that being undefeated don't really mean nothing. But
Exactly.
Floyd made you think that it does. Huh?
Yep.
All the greats
Yep.
in history have lost at some point in some kind of way. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
there's what is superficial. But you take Spence and Crawford, who are the best of their era, and in the biggest fight that people want to see in the sport of boxing today, and they're getting ready to do something. Now, just imagine if the fight turns out to be a great fight. Now you have two men, like I said, who could begin the snowball effect of forgetting about Floyd. This is boxing. This is what's familiar. This is what we know.
Absolutely.
And the rest
And
of
you
the
know-
divisions of boxing will fall in line behind that, because that has such a presence, such a strength, that you don't want to be on the outside of that. You want to be a part of that conversation, that era, that being a part of these men who really did it the right way, and so forth and so on. Then you're going to look like a fool being like Shakur. You understand?
Yeah, and you're right. And this is the thing, Stormy. You know how they tried to put out that narrative that black fighters can't sell. That's not to make it about race, but I'm about to make it about race. When they announced Bud versus Spence, I'm paying close attention to the undercard. And so far, I see all Latino fighters. You see what they're doing? They're using these two fighters who supposedly can't sell to boost up other fighters. That's why I called in and I asked Bernie, are we going to get Frank Martin? Are we going to get Shakur? Are we going to get Keyshawn on the undercard? And you could tell Bernie was a little disappointed himself. He was talking about, no, they don't want to pay them or something, he said. But they're gonna pad that huge fight with fighters they want to pump up and not other black fighters.
Not only that, Frank is fighting the week before.
Yeah.
He's fighting on the 15th on Showtime. But check this out. Check this out. Showtime is also putting on a pay-per-view Bellator event or something as well. The same damn day.
Wow.
So you're taking away from their thing by putting something like that on. You know why?
Yeah.
So they could say, I told you, these guys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you think that they will put Bellator on opposite Canelo?
No.
Of course not.
Excuse me. Never.
See, this is the part of boxing when you really understand what's going on. Those are the conversations that should be had. And why isn't old media talking about that? Why isn't the so-called ESPNs and the Max Kellermans? Oh, Max don't have a job. I'm sorry. But anyway, why aren't they talking like this and about this? Because it's the real deal. Huh? It's the real deal.
Exactly. They don't want to bring attention to it because they know what it's about.
But that's okay because Earl and Bud are going to have a place in history and nobody is going to remember that damn Bellator event or whatever that is that they're going to have that same day. Nobody's going to give a damn.
Nope.
When you look back on history, you're going to be like, man, July 29th, 2023, those two brothers finally got it on. And damn, it was an event. I was there. I remember what I was eating that night. I had a pizza, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what is going to mean something.
Yeah.
Not what they're trying to,
not what
make.
they're trying to do. And if anyone starts to come out and say, well, the Bellator, you can cut them off immediately and say, you're lying. You're lying. People are going to try and lie and say that one was better. You know, the real haters. But we already know they're lying. Everybody's watching Bud versus Spence.
Right. Right. And that's the way it should be. But again, it doesn't help when you got people like Shakur running around here telling, the people that the other guy won when the man who is the real champ won the fight. And let me ask this question, because I got you on here, Lala D, and I posed this question after the fight between Haney and Lomachenko. Devin Haney was favored in that fight and everything. The fight was close, but Devin won the fight. But I posed this question, and I did a video about it. Does Devin not reserve the right to win close decisions, being a good fighter?
Hello.
I mean,
absolutely.
So where is it written that he had to knock Loma out for victory? Where is it written that Loma had to knock out everybody that he fought, even though he has now lost 3 times, and y'all still putting him high on the pound-for-pound rating and everything?
Yep.
And he lost his damn second professional fight. Huh? Seriously.
Yep.
So it's like, you mean to tell me that Devin, in all of what he's accomplished, and he turned pro, at 17 years old, 16 years old, something like that? And he's been fighting.
He was challenging Loma back then.
Exactly. But here he is, the young man doesn't reserve the right to get the benefit of a competitive fight, a close decision or something.
In his own country? Yep.
Against a guy who's already been beaten a couple of times, who avoided him. You see?
Yep.
And those type of things, you are insulting my intelligence when you try to tell me that I watch boxing just to see the guy that you all want to win close decisions, but my guy gotta knock the dude out. That's no.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing that really makes it stinks.
Everybody who knows boxing and knows fighters knew damn well Devin Haney wasn't knocking nobody out. Let's just keep it real. So I knew he was going to win a unanimous decision. So when I started seeing all those comments, he couldn't stop him. You knew he couldn't stop him, but since when does that make a great boxer? Oh, see, I misused that term again. When does that make a very good boxer?
Absolutely. And how about this? I've been sitting on this for a minute, but I'll just say it simply here. Maybe when he moves up to 140, the knockouts will start happening.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he's cutting into the man's strength by staying at this division that he's been at since he was a young kid turned pro. So that's got to be debilitating at some point. And I heard 78 say this. Shout out to 78. He said that the longer you stay at this particular weight, you may suffer some type of damages to yourself because you haven't allowed yourself to really grow and flourish. You're a big man.
Sense.
They showed photos of him standing in the gym next to Bud Crawford. They look the same size. If anything, he looked almost a little bigger than Bud. Big bones, in that sense. So it's like if he elevates and going up to a higher weight class, because he's probably a 147 pounder, to be honest. Because if you think about it, how Bud turned pro and he fought at, I think, was it lightweight, and then he went to 140, and then he come up to 147. So if Devin does it that way, he's at lightweight. He need to move up to 140, but he probably is going to max out at 147. And that's where his real strength and power and everything would come. I would like to see him at 147 by the time he turns 28 years old.
Yeah. Yep. He got 4 years. Yep.
You know what I mean? So that, and that would make a difference.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, speaking of weights, did you see how easily Boots made weight? He's going to be at 147 for a minute, I think, if he wants to.
Well, that's because, again, he's smart. He stays in shape. He's always in the gym, they say. He's always in the gym, and he's always working out. And there's opportunity for him there. There's opportunity. If he's thinking about moving up right now, he would just be moving into another mire of mess because you don't really know what's happening at 154 right now. You don't know how the belt distribution is going to go, if it's going to remain under one guy, or if it's going to get split up or divided or whatever. And moving up to that weight, you don't know who they would pitch you against to fight one of those titles. It may be somebody you don't want to see. You understand? And that doesn't mean like he's not capable of competing. But,
no, I know what you mean.
What that means is that you don't always want to dive into the deep end if you haven't gotten familiar with what the shallow end means.
Yeah.
Because you have to know what the shallow end means to understand what the deep end is.
Yeah. Like when Andrade moved up to 168, he said, I told Benavidez, he said, just give me one tune-up. He said, Benavidez is a big dude. He said, give me one tune-up. And I was like, I respect that. You know, he came out and said it.
Right. Yeah. And again, you know, because we're going to see something with this Canelo and Charlo fight. But the benefit is this, and I don't think enough people have spoken about this as well, is Canelo used to be right down there with those guys.
Yeah.
It's just that Mel stayed and enjoyed the successes of his labors there. His brother moved up pretty much out of, one, allowing his twin to do his thing, but also because, let's just say, I believe their work ethic is a little bit different. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
But by their work ethic being different, that's where Canelo may have made a mistake picking this brother.
Yeah.
Because this brother, regardless, again, you could talk about his personality outside the ring, but in the ring, he dares and desires to be great.
Yep.
I remember when he lost that decision to Harrison, and he was really emotional about it because he thought he was robbed. It wasn't, it's not the thing about, oh, I lost. No, it's the thing about, it was a close fight that could have gone either way, and he was upset about the fact of how they chose to put the decision out there.
Take it. Yep, absolutely.
But when he got his head leveled about himself, which is difficult, he came back and he spoke about it. He was like, I embrace my loss now because that's one more thing that separates me from my brother. So now I have a chance to come back and be better than I was. And guess what that's saying? I'm better than my brother.
Yep. Yep. And I did catch when he said that. I was like, But when and that's another thing about Mel. He always came back better. Like, to me, Tony Harrison looked better in that second fight. But Mel still caught him.
Yep. Because he was focused. He was dialed in.
Yep.
And again, a guy like that who's steady as rain like that, all you got to do is make a mistake. And then he'll be ready to capitalize and pounce on it. And I think that's going to be a problem for Canelo as well. Because Canelo may be looking at this in a different way. But this man, Canelo has made a lot of mistakes. And let me tell you, John Ryder is no Mel Charlo. No, Mel Charlo. And if he struggled against a guy like John Ryder, I can only imagine what Mel is capable of doing to him.
Yep. And I remember one time 78 said this, and it stuck in the back of my head. My main concern, well, the two weight division differences is a concern too. But another concern I would have is too much respect for Canelo. But I'm going to trust that he's not going to do that. He wants to beat Canelo.
Exactly. And check this out. People forget a little footnote of history. Oscar De La Hoya was kind of running things at 147. He was doing very well up there. And Sugar Shane Mosley went from 135 up to 154 to fight Oscar. And he beat Oscar. So 2 weight classes up, he went up there. Yeah. Sugar Shane was a beast at 135, lightweight. And he went over junior welterweight to welterweight and beat Oscar. And then went on up to 154 as well. Even though we realize in hindsight, we're looking back, he had some PD help to be strong up there at 154 because those guys were so much bigger than him. But when he fought Oscar at 147, he was a beast.
You know what, Stormy? Somebody just made a video yesterday. I hate that I can't remember who it was, but someone made a video yesterday pretty much doubting that Jamel could go up 2 weight classes and beat Canelo. And he said, and I quote, I've been doing research, I've been looking around, and I can't find any fighter who came up 2 divisions to beat someone like Canelo. And you know what? I hate that because I didn't know about Mosley doing that. I hate that I didn't hear you say this earlier. I would have been able to politely inform him in the comments.
Well, but you know what, though? That's okay, Lala D, because guess what? There are people out here, and I told you that off the top of my head. I didn't research it. I didn't look through Google or nothing. But I've been around. That's when I say things. I say I've been around. I've seen some things. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I can talk boxing this way, because I've seen enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that, oh, I know better than anybody, because there are people of my era who've seen these same things.
Right,
but everybody doesn't take it in like I do, because I absorb the sport, and I said many occasions that I watch it from a different vantage point. I don't just sit up and watch boxing. Oh, that's a good left, that's a good right. No, I'm watching so many different things. One of the things I have yet to get into in this show that I wanted to was I watched my girl Marlene Esparza fight last night, and she won a majority decision. But I was concerned because just before it was time for her to do her ring walk, they showed her sitting in her dressing room, and she looked like she had been crying. And I've never seen that look on her face at all. Her nose was red and her eyes were teary. And she was sitting in her chair all gloved up, all ready to do the ring walk. And her trainer was sitting just a foot or two away from her. And the camera just showed her for, a minute or so. And then it went back to what they were talking about, because they were getting ready to come out. But I was like, uh-oh. And I was concerned, because I'm like, either she got a bad phone call or something happened, and now she's emotional. And I'm like, that's not good, going to the ring. But she performed, and I wasn't able to watch her fight because I was watching the Showtime card, and I went back. I still got it paused on my monitor now. It's in the 5th round. I wanted to see how she performed, because I coached before. I want to make sure she's good. But I found out, in the aftermath, that she won her fight, a majority decision. So whatever she was going through, she was able to shake that off and perform. But when you see a fighter, and she's a woman fighter too, so you just don't know what to think, what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I noticed that right away. The ring announcer, not the ring announcer, the TV commentators and all that, I guarantee you none of them has said anything about this. But this is why I tell you that I watch boxing from a different vantage point. I'm looking at different things all the time.
That's why you're so conversant in boxing.
Listen, the kid, Diego Pacheco, somebody earlier in the chat was asking me, I think it was Learn was asking, he said, can you talk about the Pacheco fight? And I did. But one of the things I noticed about his fight, and he was in a very good head up match. Before he stopped the guy in the 4th round, he was throwing lead right hands, hitting the guy, doing very well. But I had said he needs to go to the body a little bit more, because this guy's putting on so much pressure. He's easy to hit in the head. It's obvious he could take a headshot, but Diego needs to work the body more. And I'd be darned, Lala D in chat, if within a minute of me having said that in my own mind and everything, he steps over and throws a Julio Cesar Chavez like left hook to his opponent's body and dropped him like a sack of potatoes.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. And the guy got up, but he was done. It was a liver shot. It was a perfectly well placed. I mean, he got all of it. Like when you dig into the bag in the gym, he hit that guy with that shot, and that shot totally debilitated him. And even though he beat the count and he got up, when Pacheco finished up on him and everything, the ref had to step in and stop the fight. But I had just said the body work is going to do it for him. And then he drops this left hook. I'm like, oh, I love this kid. 22 years old, 6'4", with a damn near 80-inch reach, fighting at super middleweight.
Wow, 80 inches.
Yeah. And he's trained by Jose Benavidez Sr.
Okay.
So that means he's in the gym with David.
Yep, sure does.
This kid going to be one to watch, I'm telling you.
I'll definitely. I picked him, but I only I didn't do thorough research. I just watched a few things and then made my pick. But I'll definitely look out for Pacheco.
Yeah.
And will you believe I picked Gomez over Taylor? I hate when I pick against the American and the American wins. It makes me feel so stupid.
Well, I noticed when I was watching that fight last night, I was watching Marquise box, man, and he was boxing his tail off. He was doing exactly the things he needed to do against a limited fighter in Gomez, and Gomez is a limited fighter. I expect as soon as he steps up his level of opposition beyond what Marquise is, he's getting knocked out himself. Marquise didn't have the type of power to knock him out, but he had ring IQ, he had footwork, and he had something that, and I mentioned this because I was watching Tay Jones' broadcast of it. He was doing something to Gomez that Gomez wasn't used to. When Gomez would throw his power punches, he was countering to his body.
Oh.
And I talk about this a lot because when fighters punch, they exhale, they breathe out.
Yeah.
But imagine you're breathing out and getting hit in the body, breathing out and getting hit in the body. That's debilitating. That's taking something out of you. So even though he was a strong guy naturally, he didn't have the same type of power on his shots in the later rounds. And Marquise got tired, but he had built up enough momentum with winning rounds that they didn't take it away from him, and thank God for that. But let that be a lesson about the body work. You see, the body work is so essential. It makes everything else easier. Pacheco's knockout looks scintillating because the body shot. Yeah. Marquise looked good against this guy because he put that body work in. If you go back and watch that fight, he's banging. Even when they were in close, he was throwing uppercuts to the breadbasket. He was hitting Gomez in the body a lot. And Gomez, trying to be a tough guy, trying to shake it off and be like, it ain't bothering me. But it was bothering him. If you look at him when the fight ended, he went over to the ropes in his corner and put his arms over the ropes. He was tired. He didn't give you the body language of like leaning over the ropes and putting his head down and everything. But his body language to me told me he was winded. He didn't like what was happening in that fight. And Marquise boxed his behind off. And salute to that brother. I said, as I watched him, I said, he boxes like Ivan Robinson, the former lightweight champ that fought Arturo Gatti in 2 legendary fights. Ivan Robinson boxes just like the way Marquise boxed Taylor boxed last night. Boxed just like him.
Okay.
You can pull that fight up on YouTube. Is Ivan Robinson and Arturo Gatti 1 or 2. And Ivan, he boxed the hell out of Arturo, who was kind of a slugger at that point at lightweight, like Gomez. So the fight mirrors, because he didn't have enough power to knock Arturo out, but he was boxing Arturo's head off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And look at how much. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let someone else call you, but look at how much investment Boots made to the body.
Exactly. And if he didn't do that, Villa will still be strong.
Yeah.
The knockout to Villa came from the body work and taking too many clean headshots.
Yeah.
You can't you have to give up one or the other. And Villa would have been better off just giving Boots shots to the body to try to counter instead of those clean shots to the head, because you only got so many of those in you. But when you saw him fall, he crumpled because he had nothing left. When you see fighters go out like that says a lot. I'll give you an example. Remember Brian Castano against Charlo in the second fight?
Yes.
See?
No one saw that drop coming. He just leaned on him and fell to his knees. I was like, oh, he's done.
He hit him with that left hook to the temple. But he had taken so many that was the last one. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, but again, I can tell you these things because I'm watching boxing through a different lens. You see what I'm saying? So when I say I've seen something before, I can always tell you, boop, I can name a fight, name a fighter, name a situation, name a circumstance. This is what I do.
Mm-hmm. You sure do. Always have examples. You always have examples.
Yeah, so, but that's what it is. You know, we are in the midst of a great year of boxing. It's a SummerSlam in the month of July. I hope we continue that momentum going forward. But for this month alone, my goodness, we have got some great fights. We've got fights coming up. Like I said, this coming Saturday, we've got Baumgardner taking on Lenarditu in a rematch.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In a rematch. That's the only fighter that has given her a loss on her record. And then after that, we've got on July 15th also, because that's the 15th. The only thing is these fights are overlapping, and I hate when they do this, but we've got Frank Martin, and he's taking on this guy Harutinian, and that's a good fight.
I love seeing Frank Martin fight.
Yep, that's a good fight. And then of course
we got Cool Boy.
Yep, and on the 25th, Cool Boy Steph taking on Monster Inoue. That is, that's a good fight. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Some people are thinking like Cool Boy is just, too good for him, and but Cool Boy does some things sometimes that Inoue, if he's game, he can take advantage of. And I say this, and I hope that Cool Boy listens so he can go out and do what I'm saying that I hope he doesn't do. He has moments where he'll let people hit him or drops his hands. You cannot let this man hit you. You cannot. Even though he's moving up from bantamweight to super bantamweight, he still knocks people's heads off. He's like the Julian Jackson of that weight class down there. You don't let natural punchers hit you at all. If you let a natural puncher hit you, you're going to find out whether you have a chin or not. And I'd rather keep myself guessing by keeping my damn chin out of the way. You understand?
Exactly.
Yeah, so, but that's what's up with that. But it's a great fight because you got the best of the slick boxers out there against a boxer puncher who can knock you out with either hand. Yeah.
And when Boots, I was scared that, I should have known better. Boots is going to do his homework. But when I was scared that Boots didn't know about Via's power, when I saw the first round, the way Boots was fighting him, I said, oh, he knows. Good. He knows. Because he was fighting him the way you fight somebody with power. He was like going to the body and keeping a certain distance.
Right. And see, the thing about Villa is Villa actually didn't change up his rhythm. He continued to fight that way, and Boots was able to see that, oh, he's not changing up his rhythm. Well, let me try this. Let me try that. Let me try this. So he became more versatile. But that first round, you're absolutely right, Lala D. I would have loved to see Boots fight the whole fight like that. You know why? You know why? That's what he did say when the fight was over, his dad had told him some stuff, but Nazim Richardson, rest his soul.
Rest in peace.
He used to say, swim without getting wet. And if Boots would have fought the whole fight like he did that first round, he would have knocked that guy out easier.
What up? Yeah.
Because he would have run him into something that he couldn't see. Because the guy never made adjustments. He never stepped it up. He never went for broke. He never, tried to match jabs. He just fought the same kind of way. So it's like taming the tiger. You just keep that jab on and keep that, and then all of a sudden while you got him sleep, boop, drop something, fight on, let's go home. That kind of thing.
And exactly. And Villa really believed in his heart he was going to beat Boots. You could tell. He thought that he had the right thing going on, and he thought he was going to hurt Boots and beat him. Boots had to take his will.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing, because it's an unspoken thing when a fighter, let's just say a melanated fighter, is good as a boxer and has skills and can move and is athletic and has fast hands, even pop on his punches. There's a consensus amongst other people, particularly the Latin folk, that feel like you can still take his heart. You never know what's in a man's heart. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. But if a man has the heart along with those other attributes, he's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
If a man has heart alone, he's dangerous, which is why you don't make that type of assessment about, because you're not that nationality or whatever. You see, those type of bigoted, biased, prejudiced points of view is what puts them in their own trick bag.
Yep.
And they don't have the answers of how to overcome that because of their own limitations in their train of thought.
Yeah.
You see, Bruce Lee used to say, be formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes a bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can creep or it can flow. That is what is meant by being versatile. Versatile in your thoughts, your processing. Because we all will have our own way of doing things. But when you have the ability to be flexible and adapt or to adjust, you become more formidable. You become more capable of enduring and competing and excelling. Yeah. Otherwise, you defeat your own growth process by being inflexible.
Yep.
And in this nation, they teach inflexible mindset. Always know that. Oh,
definitely. Definitely. And in those rounds where Boots was getting hit, he was fighting via fight.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? I didn't hear that.
Oh, I said in those rounds where Boots was getting hit, he was fighting via fight. He could have made that whole fight his fight, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. See, he could have, but like I said, I would prefer him not to get hit with the shots he got hit with by fighting and boxing more like he did in the first round. Because I'm going to tell you something. The way he boxed in that first round, that impressed the hell out of me. Because he gauged distance well, he moved well, he threw the correct punches, he put sting on stuff, he put speed on stuff. He wasn't just trying to knock the guy out with shots. He was using a variety of means of going about his work. And I love that. See.
And Stormy, did you notice Villa couldn't get nothing off in the first round? Nothing. That's why he should have just kept that up. Yeah. He should have kept it up. I agree.
And then if Villa would have tried something new, then he can start doing something to stop that. See, there's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? Exactly. So it's like, if what you're doing is make them change. Don't you change.
Yeah.
You know? And I noticed he had went southpaw on him before the end of the first round. He should have kept that in reserve for a little bit.
Yeah.
Seriously. No, because it's like, it's like giving him, you got to beat me like this. If you can't beat me like this, you don't deserve to see what else I got in my bag.
Yeah.
See?
That's the mind game they need to incorporate more when they fight.
Now, I will compliment Floyd in this manner. Floyd put you in a situation where you had to beat him at his best doing what he did, and nobody could do it, right? So you didn't see Floyd going out there taking unnecessary risks, getting hit and tagged just because he trying to excite the crowd. Floyd was like, this sucker can't touch me. I ain't going to let him touch me.
Yep. And people hate him to this day for it.
Yeah.
There's a guy at my job still complaining.
But see, that's why he, as Emmanuel Stewart once said, is probably one of the smartest fighters in the history of boxing, if not the smartest fighter in the history of boxing.
Yep.
Because he was able to impose himself psychologically in a way that some people that just, but we're actually living in an era and time that began toward the end of his career where our society is dumbed down a lot. And it's like people don't use, as my granddad used to say, people don't use their thinkums too much these days. They're so busy reacting, they don't even think before they react.
Not at all.
You ever hear people say this thing now when they say, what do you mean? You hear that a lot nowadays. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You know why? Because the first reaction is emotional and they're feeling.
Yeah.
They didn't take a moment to process what's being said. They just heard something being said. And if it's not necessarily complimentary, you're challenged now.
Yep.
You see? You've actually insulted your own intelligence by reflecting that.
Yeah. Yep.
See, Lala D, this is class over here for me because I say these things, and like I said, there's people out there, they don't like it. Well, too bad, huh? But at the same time, I give gems, and there are some who will take that and file it, and then there's some who will discard, and that's cool too because everybody ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're too emotional and you want a narrative instead of the truth, boxing is not the sport for you.
Right.
Or at least certain channels are not the channels for you, because you can actually find a lot of channels that will give you your narrative you're looking for.
That's true. That's true. I got to be able to have something beneficial, fortifying. I don't like to chew the fat.
Yeah. That's why I don't understand why trolls come into comment sections all pissed off because it's not their narrative. It's like, dude, there's 95% of what you're looking for out there, but you just have to come try to control this 5% that's speaking the truth, and you can't handle it.
Well, there are fools in all capacities, They're there.
Yep.
But also there's another way to look at it. You can look at it like this. That's the benefit of being able to decipher what you like and what you do not.
Yeah.
Because when you're able to do that, then you keep it moving. Whether it's where they came where you are or you're ousting them because that's unwelcome where you are. But it's still the whole point of understanding what you don't, tolerate. Why put, you go to the buffet and you see people stacking up their plates with what they like. Chicken, steak, potatoes, whatever, right? They stack it up. You never see people at a buffet putting a bunch of stuff on their plate that they don't want.
Absolutely.
Isn't that dumb? It sounds dumb, right? So the analogy is, why are they here? Why?
To find what they like.
I had a guy come in a couple weeks ago. He says, shit channel. That was his comment. Shit channel. And, I remember the movie Superman 2. Where Clark Kent got beat up in the diner by the truck driver. But when he got his powers back, he went back to that diner to see that truck driver. And the truck driver, who was a bully, he's in the diner and he's eating a plate of food, and he yells over to the waitress, "Hey, bring me another plate of this garbage." And Clark says to the guy as he walks in the door, he says, "Gee, I never seen garbage eat garbage before."
Yeah.
All right. So now let's take that back to the guy that said shit channel. If it's a shit channel, what you doing here?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going into the gay bar because I don't get down like that. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna walk into the gay bar and be like, "Oh man, they're gay up in here."
Yep.
You know, no. You know,
Yep.
it doesn't really. So
Exactly.
there you go.
Yep. Yep.
Sometimes the truth is just right in front of people's face, man. They don't
Yeah.
want to deal with it. They seriously, they don't want to deal with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
I remember this real quick before I go. I remember I went on a double date, right? And the other guy's date, she snubbed me. She didn't want to speak. She wouldn't hold any conversation. She wouldn't even look at me. And then her date made some comment about going to some club. And I said, "Oh, no, I don't do gay clubs or suspect clubs." That really got under her skin. And she thought I was going to give her an explanation. And my thing is, see, you sold such a good story that you were indifferent to my presence. You didn't see me. You weren't thinking about me. You didn't even say hello. Now you're giving me all this power. And she wanted me to explain to her why. I said, "No, we're not going to be doing that. I'm just not going."
Right. Yeah.
If you're gonna take on that whole position, keep it. Don't suddenly give all your power away because somebody isn't saying what you want to hear.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely factual. Absolutely.
Yep.
So.
But oh my God, I love talking to you. But I know other people want to call in. So
well,
next week,
if they do, Lala D, they'll have to call next week because we done talked the show away. But that's okay. Listen, your call was a great call. You helped drive the show forward with the conversation that you brought, questions that you had, and everything. And I appreciate that because this is what it's all about. And if you look out there in the chat, people were just listening and commenting on what we're saying, but it's like nobody felt disrupted or anything. This is what it's all about. This is what it's truly all about.
And every time I call, I learn a lot from you. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I learn as well, which is like I talk about reciprocated process. It's like the whole thing of why I do what I want to do because I want to share, but it also gives me something when people interact that way and I can, get something back from them. So that it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, don't be a stranger. Make sure you call again,
I will.
Today's show and the subjects that we touched on and everything, I think has a lot of replay value. It has a lot of information in there that can assist people with what they're looking at, what they're listening to, because that's important.
Yeah.
It's not just throwing something against the wall to see what will stick.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
But you got time now. The day is still young. You can go out there and spend some of that money. Because, that's what's up. It's a beautiful day. It's really nice out. So.
Yep.
All right, Lala D. Well, thank you again for your call. Appreciate you.
You too. I'll talk to you next week.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye. Oh, what a great call from Lala D. See what happens? People can call in and really help, as I like to say, drive the show forward. That's what it's about. Our Sunday call in. Man. And with that, I want to take a moment out and give my man Focus Ball his shine.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Man, what a show. What a show. This was a great Sunday morning call in, man. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC and everyone that came in today, the super chats, the super stickers, man, those who were willing to smash the like button and enjoy the process and take everything in. A very good show, ending on a very high note. Thank you all for tuning in, but it is time to go, and it's lunchtime, and Stormy gotta eat. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, we're going to get on up out of here. Hope the rest of you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll be back next week for another Answering the Bell with Stormybman. Peace to everybody, and keep yourselves safe out there.
also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.